ready to kick off game number 2, finally. After we had the whole getting back in there and remaking a game stuff going on, we are ready to start this second match. Let's give you a quick rundown of the teams for existence. We have Samux on Warwick, Morden on Nocturne, Babetta on Janna, x6tence on Twisted Fate, and Barbecue on Cogmore. And over on the other side, we have Moscow5 on Tarek, Genja on Corki, Alexish on Karthus, Darian on Tryndamere, and of course Diamond Prox in the jungle on Leigh.
But the problem is nobody can see it because we're looking at you.
That was retarded, wasn't it?
Yeah, you changed that. Anyway, we are in the game and finally things are underway. So apologies for the delay. There seemed to be a remake, and then for some reason it seemed to take about 10 minutes for them to actually do a remake. I think one of the existence players had dropped or something. Something had happened, he disconnected, so they just did a straight remake. And when he finally came online, we got underway. So here we are. And so, how's it going to work out? That's the question. We've got Tryndamere versus Warwick in that top lane. Firefang, I believe it is Tryndamere. I can't remember the exact name of it. And it looks like they're going to be covering off the blue buff. Looking like the red buff probably going to be starting for Diamond Prox again, which is what he did in the last match. And if you did just miss the last match, well, Moscow5 got destroyed by existence. 25-2 was the score. And Moscow5 definitely had a wake-up call. x6tence at the moment covering off the Wraith path and the red path as well. So no steals coming from Moscow5 on that one. He's ready and waiting in position. You can see Moscow5 positioned to cover it off. Babetta taking a little look there. Does manage to get that ward down. And a good look towards that raid spot. Diamond Prox is going to be well aware of that one. Meanwhile, Genja is hanging down that bottom, and Barbecue looking like he's poised to go for the bottom lane, and Moscow5 sneaks in and puts a ward in place. That ward that's just got in place is the ward that would have saved Dignitas in the CBIT World Finals. If only they would have done that ward at the start there. And x6tence helping out. Darian is actually going to look towards having a peek towards Morden there. x6tence immediately pulling the yellow card, going in towards Darian. Will he manage to catch up? I don't think he's going to get in range, and will just force him to back away. Helps pull, and the leash on the blue buff, but Darian's going to continue to be a problem for them here. He's hanging around. He realises that Samux is there, and I don't think he's going to get anywhere near it yet. He returns to lane before realising that he may well lose out on experience, gets back just in time to get the last hit on the first minion about to die. So, x6tence and Alexish in the middle there. Twisted Fate versus Karthus. Going to be an interesting layout as the directed camera decides to pull me down the bottom. It is going to be Barbecue versus Genja, and Moscow5 versus Babetta. Support versus support. And actually, existence's ward managed to get cleared out there because Moscow5 put a pink ward down straight away at that bottom lane, Joe.
Yeah, early stuff there. We can see, it's always a bonus, actually. We did see Fairy Charm start with the 1 ward or 2 wards plus pots for Janna, and Moscow5 started out with the Fairy Charm. Oh, that's a big hit there onto Samux up at top, as my auto-director just was like, you're going to watch this right now. That's what's going to happen. But yeah, interested to see how this whole top lane really fares off here with Samux. Obviously, he's going to burn through mana pretty quickly, and Darian knows that. He just needs to keep some kind of decent harass up onto him, and he's going to force that Q to burn through all the mana that Samux has got to offer. Alexish, obviously, with Karthus, going to be going up against that Twisted Fate. Interested to see how that one all works out. And currently, we have Nocturne heading up in towards this top lane. Darian is actually going to meet him face-to-face here in the brush. Will spin away, but is that fear going to proc? Nope, not quite. Darian will walk straight off. But Twisted Fate is here. Twisted Fate is ready and waiting for this one. They are going to go in there. Stun card is pulled, and he's going to get stunned, but he's under the turret. I think he's going to get away with this one. Yes, he will. Morden not going to be able to get the damage down there that he needed. And Twisted Fate, well, basically losing out on a little bit of farm from that one. Alexish, obviously, with Defile, what's he got? 2 points in his queue. 1 in the Wall of Pain, 1 in Defile as well, right from the very start of that one. We'll have that early CS advantage from that gank going up at top. And actually, Darian wasn't really that phased. He's run a couple of pots, and he's back up in the brush to annoy Samux even more.
Yeah, he was certainly in position for that one, and obviously got Bloodlust on as well, so he's got that running at the moment. He's going to stack that up and heal himself up alongside those pots, and he's certainly hitting some big crits in there. I'd be interested to see what his runes are. I didn't even think to look at them, and it's definitely going to be a high crit start, I think, for him, as he's just picking up all the CS quite happily against
Yeah,
Samux.
28% he's on.
28% crit, so there you go. Yeah, so he's stacked that one up completely. It's how's he looking at the moment? 20 CS to 18, so despite all that harassment, he's just not fell behind whatsoever and continuing to farm quite unhinged. Down the bottom is a bit of a harassment going between Barbecue. Barbecue actually used a lot of his mana up there to try and keep them at bay. He was pushed against his tower, though look, can see Leigh pushing up towards that top lane now. Diamond Proc's ready and waiting to go. Nocturne hovering around that middle lane. I'm just going to keep my eye on this top lane because Samux has pushed himself quite far forward. And I think Diamond Prox is just waiting to land that Q on him. Samux, though, still not harassed. He's waiting to see whether he's just going to push further, and he has. He's just going to drive on towards that lane. You can see Samux may well just throw enough rope to hang himself. Surely Diamond Prox is going to come in there. The Q does go down finally. He's going to dash onto him. Will it be enough? Have they got an exhaust? They've got nothing to slow him down. So he's just going to back away from that one and keeping that a little bit alive still. He's always going to be a little bit weaker before 5. Had got 3 in Hungry Strike though, so it was enough to keep his health sustained long enough to just carry on with that one.
Yeah, and we saw in the last game actually the combo of Diamond Prox and Darien actually diving on to Samux's Irelia. Got 2 early kills, but that was, well, pretty much all the kills that they were getting inside of the main game. Obviously, they ended 25 to 5. In the middle, Exeter, let's have a look at CS, 37 to 39 of Karthus. So keeping quite nicely up to speed with Alexish's Karthus, who seemed to be having a couple of problems landing his lay waste in that situation. But no worries, Warwick now has come back into lane and does have Ninja Tabi plus a cloth armor, and that's going to help him here until at least Tryndamere does go back for the first time. Barbecue down at the bomb. He is going to get stunned up by Gosu Pepper. Took a bit of damage in the process, but Gosu Pepper, we saw this before in game number 1 where Gosu Pepper went aggressive and then realized, actually, you know what? I have to turn around and I have to run the hell away from this one. It's not going to be good to stick in there. So just have a look over at top because I noticed that their icons were right above each other. But Morden is waiting now inside of this brush. Gosu Pepper's going to come in, and surely they're going to be able to finish this one off. Fear is going to proc, and it stopped him from getting away. The problem really was there. Barbecue was too low. Genja forced to use the Valkyrie to get away from that one, and Barbecue did actually pop his heal there to try and stay in the fold. Didn't quite work out for them. There's no heal actually on the Moscow5 side down in this bottom lane. Going to be wanting to rely on that from Tariq. Up at top once again, Hungering Strike doing good chunks of damage here actually onto Darien, and obviously now he's got that blood scent on as well. He wants to keep it that way in case he gets ganked, get the extra speed to run away.
Yeah, and he's quite happy letting the lane push itself as well. So he's forcing Tryndamere, knowing that he's half health. And Darien is going to go back and bite. So what is he going to come back with? Got himself a double Doran's Blade. Triple Doran's Blade, in fact. So he's built up enough. So going to go straight damage, actually, and see if he can really lay the pain down on that Warwick at the top lane. Meanwhile, blue buff is being given across to Extermin. The Goosey Pepper trying to scissor off Barbecue there, but he'd already backed away enough that he wasn't too worried about it. We are approaching the 8-minute mark, so give it a couple of minutes and maybe see start of a dragon attempt. Nothing crazy, nothing early. We did used to see very early dragons from Moscow5, and obviously a lot of people talked about it, certainly with the Asian teams going very aggressive. Oh, I can see Extermin was potentially looking. We're going to have to keep our eye on him because he's going to be looking to do that Destiny, the ulti, and zipping up to either the top lane or the bottom lane. And I guess it's going to be the top lane, if anything. I think Samux is going to try and cause him problems. He needs to get in there, get that stun card down. But he could certainly join that bottom lane as well with Nocturne as well. He could have a triple gank suddenly on someone. And you can see, there we go. He's using it. He's going this Destiny up towards the top there, towards Darien. Actually went in towards the lane, and Darien, using a wise idea, went straight down and heads towards the middle lane to safety. Very good use by Darien there, flashing through in towards the blue. And then just spinning, I think it's spinning slash, isn't it? Spinning slash, it is indeed. Wow, how did I remember that from many, many years ago when I played Tryndamere? This shows how long ago it was I played that, but I did get it in there. Morden just covering off that middle lane. Alex is just getting a lot of free farm. This is the problem. So if he does go around sort of trying to pick up those ganks and not successful with them, it could cause problems. Extend might well fall behind in the CS. 68 CS to 78 at the moment, so only a 10 CS difference. Not that great a deal.
Yeah, still a real close game. No first blood, obviously. 100 gold separating these two teams, and that's going back and forth to nothing as well. Ward put down there in the brush, and actually Darian continuing to harass Samox up in the top, obviously, with those points that is now built up in Hungering Strike, plus the mass amount of armor that he's gone for as his first couple of items will be helping him off. Actually, Barbecue going to get stunned down here at bottom. Genja is now level 6, so that ulti can come off. Howling Gale will actually land. Here comes Nocturne. Are they going to get it onto him? There's the Valkyrie. He's actually going to flash as well, but that's no problem for Nocturne. He's going to pick up that first blood, saunters away. Leigh was coming in for the fight as well, but was just slightly too late to really to be of any use from that one. Carthus starts to come down as well. This may be, are they going to be thinking about starting off Dragon? Very possibly. Actually, Existence like, well, you know what? We can do Dragon right now. And we are going to see them go in there. And with 4 men, surely there's nothing they can do, especially without Corki. Leigh going to be slowed down, and there is the smite to finish things off. Dragon picked up there by Existence. So a nice little start. Alexic actually doing a good amount of damage there to Extermin, who was just trying to get away back up that ramp after picking up that Dragon. But you can see that his wild cards now are pretty much ripping through these waves of minions, and they're not going to be lasting all that much longer anymore.
Yeah, and a fantastic delayed play by Morden there. He knew the Valkyrie was going to come out, so he held out with that ulti before he dashed in, waited for the Valkyrie to be forced out by the support player, I think it was. I think it was Cogmore that forced it. I'm pretty sure it was Janna that forced it. Meanwhile, he's going to go towards the top there. Stun card is delayed. Now he puts the stun card down. They do manage to ulti on him as well. Kind of could have been used at a little bit better time now. Hasn't really got the mana to go after this one, and Darian will just walk away from it. But yeah, Morden, really fantastic play. Waited up for that Valkyrie to be used on by Genja, and then just went straight in, and the flash obviously finished it off. Could have done without using a flash, but that was his whole point in the first place. Morden covering off again in that middle lane, and this time Samox needs to be careful. He's got Diamond Procs hanging around with Leigh in them bushes, the new improved bushes as well. If anything, I say new improved, it's almost like they've gone back to the beta bushes. I swear that's what they used to be like many, many moons ago, but I'm sure somewhere some graphical guide say, look, seriously, this is much better. But actually, if you look back at the old beta graphics, they are quite hideous, some of them. But amazed how this game really has progressed, and we're on to technically our 3rd graphic iteration of this game. But so far, this game is definitely hanging on the balance, and well, it's 1-0 to Existence again, Joe, and could we go the same way as first match? If you did miss it, if you just tuned in, Existence, well, they went 25-2 in the first game. They really were dominant, and Moscow5 realised they've got a game on their hands.
Yeah, and they know that they've got to come up with the goods in this game number 2. Otherwise, well, they lose out on €1,000 and will take 2nd place. Obviously, it's 2,500 for first, 1,500 for second. So this game all riding on the good old €1,000. You know, €200 a piece. It's nothing to be really just giving away, that's for sure. Anyway, let's have a look down here at this bottom lane. Let's have a look at the CS, because we've not really mentioned that too hard in this bottom lane. Now, 90 CS for Cogmore to the 99 of Corki as well. So fairly even stuff down in this bottom lane. 105 for Twisted Fate to 127. So Alex is starting to pull away a little bit on this Carthus, as you would expect, because Twisted Fate has at least twice now been gone up for these ganks on this top side of the map. And actually, neither of times did they particularly work out there. So we'll see later on if that makes much of a difference coming into things. Blue buff will be given over here onto Exeter. I can assume that the same will happen on Moscow5 side of the map here in a second. One Diamond Procs does get down onto this blue buff area. And we go into a very farmy kind of stage here. And we didn't see that much of it. We didn't really see any kind of stalemate, I'd say, in the first game. This time, I think both teams a little bit more wary about it. Moscow5, of course, have to win this game. Otherwise, it's going to be GG. On the other hand, Existence know that they've got a great lead, and throwing it away would be just massive pain, because Moscow5, you know, well, they're Moscow5. You know that it's going to be a very difficult one. If they end up losing game number 2. Bottom lane's really going hell for leather, right? Actually, just exchanging that damage wherever they possibly can. Barbecue, in terms of items, Wriggle's Lantern, Double Doran's Blade compared to the the Double Doran's Blade, Vamp Scepter, and Null Magic Man. So I'm assuming that Corky's sat on a decent amount of gold. Yes, he is. Almost 1,600 there. Twisted Fate has gone Cage as a lucky pick, plus Double Doran's Ring so far. Karthus already finished off that Rod of the Ages, and we've only seen one ulti so far. That kind of shows you because, you know, Karthus, he's got that finisher, or I suppose you can say the initiation in his ulti as well. Actually, this is going to be a kill surely down at bottom. Genji is actually going to try and get away, but once again, Nocturne has timed his ulti perfectly, and now Gosu-Pepper could be in a bit of trouble. Stun card is pulled. They waited for him to get out of range of the tower before they put that stun down, and they are gifting it over. And that's something that we've seen so nicely done, Deman, by Existence. The whole coordination in terms of who is picking up the kill. It's not a rush to get things finished off. They've let it go over to Barbecue. He is now going to be 1-0-2, but it's Nocturne that's 2-0-1. And 2 turrets have gone down. Middle turret taken out by Karthus, and Diamond Procs of Darien have pushed his top turret down, and they're pushing for even more. And the thing is, what do you do against Tryndamere and Lee Sin when they're hammering on your turret? There's not all that much you can do, in my opinion. Okay, now they can do something because they've got more than one guy there. Diamond Proc's actually going decently low. Exo is going to get the stun card off onto Alexish, but do they really have enough to be chasing this one? He's got blue buff on, so got plenty of damage, and there goes the red card. Will put that AoE damage across the team. Alexish is still fairly low. Will get the slow wall down. That's not enough to stop him, and Samox is feeling confident now as he goes in there. Exter should survive the blast from that ultimate, but that may just have been enough to stop Existence following in for these last kills. Diamond Procs has walked away. Obviously, Bloodscent is running, so they'd seen his position there. But maybe they'll go and try and retaliate these turret takedowns. I'm not sure that they really can with Darien still up there and building up to heal with Gosu-Pepper as well. And that will leave us at 4-0 for Existence, but a 2-1 turret lead for Moscow5. They are, though, nonetheless behind in gold.
Yeah, and they may well lose this middle turret as well. But yeah, I think that just completely caught them by surprise because Extermin had just been backed by that needlessly large rod. Before that, he didn't really have the damage, and suddenly, obviously, went down that bottom, helped out, got those 2 assists, and suddenly he'd come back with this needlessly large rod, and suddenly they're like, whoa, where did that damage just come from? The wild cards and the attack speed card it was that hit them, there's all the slow, I should say, the red card, managed to hit them, and again, perfectly timed Existence on that dragon, picking up themselves a free dragon. Really, Moscow5 could do nothing about it. Gosu-Pepper tried his best just to get a ward in as close as he could, but managed to back away. But Darien could become a problem. He went back, got that BF sword. He's going to have a chunk of gold in him now because he's picked up a couple of waves. Yeah, 1,500 gold. You can see he's just clearing out the jungle, sort of perennially always used to be in the enemy jungle. Just going to go back and spend his well-earned gold, and could become a problem late game. You know, he could continue farming his way through and will really become a problem. They're just going to have to try and monitor him as much as possible, use those stun cards. Warwick's going to have to suppress him because he could just stomp his way through that team late game if they allow him to completely feed up, or just try and feed him anything they've got, because looking through it, they've only got 2 exhausts actually. They have got 2 exhausts, so that could slow him down quite a bit. So maybe they've got enough control for him. I would suspect that's why they've got it. But that's going to free up the rest of the team then, which is like Corky, etc. They're going to have to deal with. So Moscow5 are not over and done with by any stretch at the moment, despite the fact they've gone 4-0 down early on, which again is possibly another surprise for people because Existence are doing very well. Now they're looking at invading here. They're going to go for red buff. They've got the ward down. They've pinged it down. They realise Diamond Procs is there at the moment. Diamond Procs, I think, has realised it as well. They've just passed that buff. The question is, will Moscow5 be able to set up for this one? You can see Alex H trying to poke in towards Morden there. They will be able to pull this red buff away. Samox has started off, but Better's there with him. Twisted Fate's actually backed away. I think he needs to be in there joining them because Moscow5 are set up in position. Now they're going to dive in. They do manage to smite it down. Diamond Procs gets it down with a smite. Now you can see Nocturne diving in towards Alex H there. Fearproc actually knocked away. Will they manage to take down Diamond Procs? No, they won't. Instead, they're going to have to turn their attention towards Alex H, who's gone pretty much balls deep. Going to go straight for Extermin. Can't manage to take him down. Darien spins in. Gets stunned up actually by the ulti. Now Darien is just stood there. What is he doing? He's not going for anything. Alex H will get taken down by Morden there. Dived in. Morden's going to pay for the price with his life. Not too sure what Darien was doing there. He got stunned up by the Janna ulti, and then just sort of stood there, and surely he'd come out of the stun. There was no way he was stunned for that long.
Yeah, I don't think so either, whether it lagged or, I don't know. But that wasn't, you know, not the best engage that we've ever seen there from Existence. They've actually put a load of wards down after that. But Alex, for me, was in there the whole time and doing damage constantly. And that's something that you know, Karthus is that AP champion that gets in there and he's allowed to die. In fact, he's supposed to die, to be quite honest with you. And
someone did actually just make a big point. I think Morden had Oracle when he flashed on for that one. It was a bit crazy.
Oh. Yeah, not good either. It's going to be a costly one. But yeah, I mean, Karthus was alive for way too long in that fight. Actually, Darian here is trying to steal away this blue buff, and we're going to see who's got the better timing out of the two, and it's probably Diamond Proc, since he's got the Ignite on there. Twisted Fate is actually going to come in here, spin away from Tryndamere, who just stands there and watching, and they're like, yeah, we'll take that blue buff back, we'll have the kill, no problem whatsoever. x6tence says, well, actually, I'm double buff now, that makes me even stronger. But Darian, you know, he spins away. He knew that a 3 versus 2 was never going to be that good for them, and Diamond Prox was the lamb offered up to slaughter for x6tence. And we can see now Twisted Fate, what's he got? Okay, Rabadon's is finished, which is where that extra chunk of damage is coming from. This is where we could see problems. When Tryndamere gets on you, he is so hard to get away from. Obviously, Morden will probably want to use that fear to get him away there, flashing away, whatever. But the fact that he can do that slow onto you, use the spinning slash to keep up with you as well, it's not going to be easy to get away. And, you know, he's built up Trinity Force. Merc Treads is what I wanted to say after that BF sword. And he's got another 1,700 gold. So once he's finished farming his way around, which is just going to this top to protect it, he's going to come back and be looking scarier once again. Actually, Howling Gale is going to land on him, but he knows that he doesn't have to be too scared. Samux doesn't actually have any mana to really do anything. And let's be honest, Janet's not going to offer up a whole lot in terms of damaging him either.
No, they realised Diamond Prox was there. The ward in the tri-bush gives that position away, which is why Twisted Fate was trying to position him his way. Morden just trying to catch down that ward. Has got stunned up. Will it be enough to get away? The Karthus ulti is going to come out and he will be fine. He had the Janna shield on him as well. Will it trigger any fights anywhere else across the map? No, it won't, but Barbecue was backing away. He wasn't sure. He's pushed that bottom lane completely up to the tower as well, so there's going to be a little bit of damage over there that Genji's going to go and try and clear out. Let's have a look at the CS between those two. 178 to 186, so still the two bottom lanes have been farming like crazy. Darian hitting for 440 crits there, I think I just saw coming through. So definitely starting to do that damage, building up probably towards the Infinity Edge, I would guess. Did get the Merc Treads as well. Just have a little bit of a counter towards Samux. Samux just doing some basic attacks on him there. Samux is very strong as well. You know, he built up that Frozen Heart early on, so he's very tanky already. Got that Wit's End as well to the attack speed, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage. He's going to be a problem later on because he's going to be able to get in the middle of the team and stay in the middle of the team and be sticky for those players. And obviously, he's really going to be aiming to try and get into Genji as quick as possible. That's the damage they want to put out. Barbecue again, returning to that bottom lane, trying to farm it up. Did get that Phantom Dancer completed early on again, just like he did in the first game. Went for that. It's interesting, the Wriggles Lantern and Phantom Dancer. It's always interesting when you're at these events to just talk to the various AD pro players about it. And even if you get, maybe we'll get them on chat channels or sometimes on State of the League or something like that, and just to hear the different AD players talk about the difference between a Phantom Dancer Wriggles or rushing in Infinity Edge and all that. You know, they all have their own opinion, so you'd get a different opinion from Double Lift that you would probably get from, say, Candy Panda or Chaox or something like that. They definitely vary in their opinions, and it's always good. And that's really the versatility of League of Legends, I guess. So another dragon picked up by x6tence. They really have had absolute fantastic timing on that. And Moscow5 are again falling behind in the gold, Joe. They're 4k behind again.
Yeah, 4k behind Tryndamere there. You can see he's struggling a little bit. I think you say struggling. I mean, they're never going to kill each other in a 1 versus 1, are they? But still, I think Darian could have a couple of problems there. Babetta's going to try and close him off with a Howling Gale, and the rest of his team actually backed away from that one. He's running in there. Yes, Jana, you do that damage onto the Tryndamere. You can definitely kill him, or not. But the CS here is kind of telling. It's almost 50 CS between the two AP carries. And that's something, again, I made this point earlier, but we saw it today. World Elite versus Najin EM Fire. The fact that you can be behind in kills, and they were behind more kills than they actually are now. And that farm late game can make a difference. However, the total gold is currently nicely in favor of x6tence, which tells a big story. Will Darian be able to have the impact on later in the game that they, to be quite honest with you, really need, actually, Moscow5. Samux, he's just tanky enough to not really care about Darien, and I think they both know it as well in this top lane, that it's more of a case of just farming and trying not to get caught out in terms of a gank than actually doing damage to one another. Janet currently just getting the wards down. Let me just hit V here and see at the vision that we've got from both teams. Much better from the existence side of things than for Moscow5. Actually, Darien could find himself a victim here. No, Morden is just going to go back away. But again, Cogmore has pushed his bottom lane right up onto the turret, trying to keep on with as much farm as he can. Alexic now is going to be in a lot of trouble. Ulti coming out from Nocturne. Alexic has actually flashed his way over towards x6tence there, and the ulti is going to come down. Janna's shield. Oh, and it's just about enough to keep him alive. The whole ulti heal as well coming out from Janna, and well, that was some great teamwork between the two, mainly from Janna. That's why support players should get more credit than they actually do in League of Legends. It's a good thing that people are starting to take more of a notice into that one. But that will keep us at 7-2. Alexic not having the best of days today. He was 0-5, whatever it was, I can't remember.
Yeah, 0-5-0, yeah.
Yeah, 0-5-0 in that first game. This game, 1-3-1. All right, he's farmed like a monster, but that's something that you've got to do as an AP carrier. That's not something that's going to separate you, though, from the opponent. But we'll see as this game goes on. 26 minutes into the game. Barbecue now taking away this red buff as well. And will we see that kind of stalemate position that we see really often, where neither team knows if they've got such a big lead in the gold that they can really be pushing heavy? We saw Existence doing a great job when they had the advantage in game number 1. Will they feel they've got enough of an advantage this time to be thinking about, headed off, maybe off towards the Baron area? They've got a couple of wards down and ready for it. There's no vision currently of the Baron for Moscow5, apart from Darien, who's just walking around there at the minute. He's got himself Phantom Dancer now added in with that BF sword and triple Doran's blade. So he's going to be stinging, and his crit's hitting for 465, and he's critting pretty much all the time. 65% is crit chance now.
And the problem is they've got two hyper carries, because they've got Karthus in there as well, who just go stronger and stronger and stronger. So Moscow5 late game, if it's allowed to just go on and on and on, which at the moment is looking like it potentially could go to maybe a 40-50 minute game here, it could be a problem for Existence, and they need to sort of start pushing their advantage. The advantage they have got at the moment, they're not really managing to capitalize on it. You can see that Cogmore's certainly very strong down the bottom. We've got Trinity Force on Genja as well, and honestly neither have really been looking for crazy ganks. They've just been farming still, but both the top lane have just been quite happily farming. The bottom lane have been happy farming. If anything, there's only been the middle where the ganks have been coming from, but Twisted Fate's just not been that successful in sort of locking down any of those ganks, and Samux again goes back to farming that top lane. Tryndamere is going walking this time, so where is Darien going? This could start happening things. Dragon's not due for, I think, another minute or two. I didn't exactly check the time when Existence picked it up last, and Extermin's just wiping out that wave every time it comes about. Yeah, bottom lane have suddenly realised, yeah, okay, we need to back away from this one. So obviously the call came out from Genja to say, I'm actually having problems down this bottom lane now. Could you mind coming to give me a hand? And Darien's like, well, I made a token gesture. I'm going to go back to top lane again.
I'm going to go back farming for a little bit. I mean, Tryndamere has got 270 CS now. It's a lot of farm, and to be honest, it's 70 farm more than Warwick has.
Well, any noob that plays, anyone that plays a game knows you can't just let Tryndamere farm alone. He's just solo farming, passive farming. He's just doing what he wants, and the same as Karthus. Look, Karthus at 291 CS. They're just quite happy farming at the moment. It's the problem for Existence. They're gonna have an issue if they leave this going.
Yeah, I think teamfight forced at some point may be the option. Actually, Warwick just picking up a recurve boa. Well, I suppose a second one, since he's got one in there with the Wit's End for that extra attack speed as well. Wards going down around Baron now. Existence, though, are split up once again, and Barbecue is quite happily farming down on this bottom lane once again. Alexic has just come around, and Morden knows his position there. He just walked straight by him, and maybe Existence are going to set up to try and catch him the next time they come along through in this jungle area. Morden just going to take away the wolves, and Genja's going to walk straight in on top of Babetta there. Is Genja going to survive this one? He's got Alexic there for cover as well. Will Valkyrie away? Not completely, though. Just into a more of a safety position. And Barbecue stopped Alex Ich coming around that corner as well. But Tryndamere is now invading the jungle, spinning his way across the map. And he's like, well, I'm going to push this top lane a little bit more. And yeah, Dragon is going to go over to Existence, so their gold is nice. Let's see how this goes now that Samex has a second recurve.
Yeah, they've actually had a poke between each other already while it was all going on down that bottom there. And Darian actually came out worse than Samex, which is why he ended up going across the side there and then spinning straight back. Oh, Gosu completely got out of position. Can he get a flash through? No, he can't, because the fear proc went off. And ironically, it triggers a Baron attack. So they're like, well, since we're here, we might as well kill it. Let's see what they can do. They're halfway down already. Diamond Prox can dive in and steal this. He's going to go for it. Didn't get the steal, though, unfortunately, and he will go down for the pleasure. In Existence now 9-2 up with a Baron. And wow, 8k gold advantage. Have let it farm for quite a while. So Moscow5 have got themselves in a reasonable position. Tryndamere just been back to buy that Infinity Edge to go with that Phantom Dancer. But again, he just backed off at the wrong time. Gosu completely got out of position. It is the good and the bad side of a support. Oh, flash there on towards Alex. It's got damage going through there. Can they finish him off there? They can't manage to get it. They will. He's going to ulti card straight through them. Just taking down Darian, going to get picked up in the process. Will that ulti pick up anyone? No, it won't. The Janna ulti saves the day. They pick up a tower and may even take an inhibitor for this one. Yes, they can. Samex can easily tank this one up. And wow, Existence just turned the game in a blink of an eye. They were just thinking they may let this one slide away from him as it goes longer, but wow, wow, wow. Pick up a couple of kills, all from just pure, just simply, oh, we've got a kill. Oh, let's get this Baron. Oh, let's get this tower. Hang on a minute, we could get a kill again. Oh, and Darian just face check straight in there. Didn't even get a chance to use his ulti. I don't think it would have mattered anyway, which is probably why he didn't.
It was on cooldown, I think, from the last time. Yeah, and you know, that Gosu positioning, just that alone, has maybe lost Moscow5 this game because, you know, the goal difference was not super close. But to be honest with you, as you said, they've got those two hyper carries. If things would have gone a little bit better for them in that next team fight, could have been different. But they've taken that down, which is why I don't really understand, because Darian knew that Samex was there. Somewhere around there, because he'd just gone past him, spun through the side of the brush, and then gone home straight away after that one, which is why I don't really understand why Gosu was still in that position. Going to be another turret taken down, so this Baron bringing them another boatload of gold. 13,000 gold they are now in the lead, and I said this at some point in the first game as well.
4K.
But this
4K
is theirs
gold
to
on
lose.
Cogmore there. It's just gone back with 4K. Twisted Fate went back with 3.5K. Warwick went back with 3.5K. Yeah, Madred's Blood Razor, there you go. Straight, flat out bought, I think they're nearly... Well, I actually built up towards it, hadn't he? But, yeah, it's an old Lichbane just completed by Twisted Fate. Yeah, they have suddenly got a lot stronger.
Yeah, hyper carry or not.
Yeah.
Not going to go well now for Moscow5. We'll see if Existence decide to push this now. They were very good when we saw them with the advantage in game number 1. Cogmore is now very strong as well, hitting massive crits. He's got that Infinity Edge, got Phantom Dancer, Wriggles, which he went for first. Just picked up another BF sword. Also got Negatron Cloak in there as well. And Samex is going to be going in on towards Darian. Guess what? Surprise! Twisted Fate is there. And this time he doesn't get a chance to use that ulti. I mean, was it? Yeah, it was on cooldown this time.
It was a wild card headshot, I believe, Joe.
Yeah, something exactly like that. And, you know, Howling Gale from Janna was not half bad itself. This bottom turret is going to be finished off. Will Existence get away? They've got 3 men coming their way. Diamond Prox, he's going to land the Q on Morden. Won't finish. Won't follow it up, though. He knows that damage too strong there from Existence, and they are running through this map without really any problem whatsoever. And I think Darian is like was probably their only hope to actually get back into this game, considering how much he actually got to feed to farm.
Yeah. And now he's feeding. That's what you were saying. Alex is going to get caught out, completely destroyed there. The damage is coming straight through from Existence, proving their worth, and that's a great Janna ulti. Will just about survive the rest of his team. Not for Janna, though. Will go down. Diamond Proxy is going to get picked off as well by Samex, I think he was. Actually, it's Twisted Fate there. Managed to pick it up in the end there. Very much in control. Existence 14-3 up in the second game. Looking like they're going to take that €2,500 for the ESL Major Series. And honestly, I'm not too sure whether Moscow5 can turn this around. The tower will go down. And that is going to be Existence in a 2-0 And let me just add this up. They went 39-5 over the 2 games. Wow, Existence really strong there. Moscow5 I thought they were going to claw their way back into it, but Existence proved them wrong and proved it to be a very, very strong team, Joe. What a great performance from the Spaniards.
We've seen Existence before, Deman, here on ESL TV. We were expecting that they were a good, strong team. I wasn't quite expecting that they were going to be that strong against Moscow5. As you said, a ridiculous over both games. I mean, this second game was technically closer, I suppose, but if you looked at just the scoreboard after this, you'd think they'd been completely trashed. But again, Barbecue on Cogmore, Demon, 4-0-4. He was 10-0-5 in the first game. Extermin on Twisted Fate, 3-1-8. First game was also great performance on Kassadin. Samux in this top lane on Warwick, 2-0-7. In the last game, he was on Aurelia, and, well, you know, he lost the first 2 kills, thought he was going to end up being a bit of a feeding target. In the end, he actually ended up with a very decent scoreline, caused all kinds of problems this one. Morden on Nocturne, again, played Nocturne both games, and both games he was absolutely brilliant, 4-1-5. And Babetta, can't say anything bad about him either. 1-1-11. Don't remember his score from the last game, but I think he actually didn't
Barbecue
die.
didn't actually die across both games either.
Yeah.
He definitely had a 0 score in the first one as well. So incredible stuff from a Cogmore. You know, just shows where the pressure was, and they weren't putting the ganks on that bottom bit. And honestly, Diamond Prox, you know, he is a fantastic Lee Sin player, but I don't recall him getting a single gank.
Yeah, they dove the tower in the first game.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that was about it. Yeah, I think, I don't know, Moscow5, I heard they've been playing maybe a little bit too much Diablo 3 recently.
Yes, indeed. Well, maybe that's what the problem is, but you never know. And, you know, you can never rule Moscow5 out.
Yeah,
sure enough, they're going to turn
back
up at a tournament, and they will be strong. They've qualified for the DreamHack qualifiers, so which is always a strange one. Qualified for the qualifiers to get through to the qualifiers. But they will be in the finals for the qualifiers. I'm not too sure how many actually go through. It's like 2 waves of qualifiers, isn't there? 4 waves, rather.
Yeah.
So 4 go through in the first wave, and then 4 go through in the second wave, or something like that. But that's what you need to be keeping your eyes on, because that will be the next tournaments for myself and you, Joe. And you're jetting off to San Francisco on Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, next Thursday, San Francisco, then a few days in LA at E3, and then I might just stop by at MLG.
Mosey on over to Anaheim.
Maybe we'll see about that one and how that's going to go. So, yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been a great game. One that to be honest, I didn't expect the 2-0 scoreline and to be as commanding of victories as they actually were. Don't forget, on Tuesday, actually, here on ESL TV, will be the final of Go for LOL Pro Asia. That's going to be Taipei Assassins taking on World Elite, China versus Taiwan. Always a good one to be in the chat for, that's for sure, on Twitch TV. But, yeah, that's it from us, and hopefully you'll join me at least. I'm not sure if Deman can quite make that one, work and all that kind of stuff that you have to do.
I'm here, there, and everywhere at the moment. I don't know what country I'm living in.
Well, it's warm, so it can't be England, right?
How you think? It's bloody boiling here today. It's brilliant.
Something is indeed wrong. But guys, don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at QVDemon, at Joe_Miller, and also on Facebook, DemonHD and Joe Miller Official, and on YouTube, 4Demon with the number 4 and Joe Miller HD. And if you can remember that, yeah, I've been practicing. I've been looking at Reddit and just remembering that sentence that I need to get out there at the end of everything. But thanks a lot, guys. As per usual, thanks for tuning in. It'd be kind of pointless for us if you guys weren't actually watching. So good stuff from you. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Watch our YouTubes. Anything else to say? I don't think so. Have a good weekend. I heard the weather's going to be sweltering across Europe. So, get your sunbathing, take in all the lovely chicks which have appeared, I noticed, in the last days. All the girls are walking around naked.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys in DreamHack in 3 weeks' time.
We shall. We'll see you then, guys. Thanks a lot.